You can get great footage of yourself welding using just your phone. I found a couple things in a hardware store that literally cost me under $5, and the footage that I was getting all of a sudden was turning out amazing. That's right, the details that I was now seeing in the welding videos I was taking was amazing, but there was a problem. After I started looking at this new footage that I was getting, I looked closely and I saw something that really shocked me. When I first decided to start a TIG welding channel on YouTube, I really wanted to film myself welding and get good footage. I really wanted to be able to use it in the videos that I was making, but I did not want to spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on a fancy camera to do it. So here's the idea that I thought of here. I look through my lens all day while I'm welding at work. So I tried to fasten my phone inside of my helmet. I had a small support of electrical tape on the bottom and the sides, something like this here. And then in order to get the lens up over the lid of the helmet so it could see through, it had to be positioned something like this here. All right, cool, but what was the problem with that? When I was welding, I couldn't see anything. No matter how I positioned it on my head, there was not a lot of room that I could work with where I could see my work clearly as I was welding. And then the other problem is that the phone would then go out of focus all the time. The footage would either turn out to be way too bright or too dark. The other really annoying thing about it was I had to get my head really close to the welding area. This would be the only way I'd be able to see any details with any footage that I could get to work. So I think it's pretty obvious to say here that most of the footage I got this way was barely usable. So back to the drawing board, and this is where I got my next idea to use a spare helmet. Unfortunately for me, I didn't have a lot of spare helmets laying around. So at the shop that I was working for at the time, I had to wait till the end of the day till everybody went home after work. After hours, I would sneak back in, borrow someone's lid, and I'd do the same deal. I would position the phone on the inside of the helmet, something like this here. Again, similar to the last setup, the big problem with this is that the footage would most of the time be out of focus. Like I mentioned, it was overexposed. A lot of the time it just looked terrible. But once in a while, I would get a clip that actually turned out decent. See this stuff here? This is actually footage from one of the first tutorials I did on my channel. This is how I filmed this stuff here. You can imagine trying to weld it. I literally had to have a spare helmet positioned in between my two arms and welding looking over it. Typically, I'd have to do about a half a dozen welds before I finally got one where the footage turned out good. But you can see here from the footage that we got, it worked. Now that I knew it was possible, I tried and tried again with it. With a lot of hard work and effort, I would be able to get some good footage, but still the majority of the footage I was getting was garbage. I tried popping the lens out and attaching that to my phone. This would work out okay for some footage I was getting, but again, most of the time it was losing focus, or the lights from the shop would reflect off the lens and ruin the footage. So again, a lot of effort on my part with very little footage that I was able to use. But then, one day, walking through a hardware store of all places, I had an idea for something that was much more simple. Here's what I did. I bought a cheap welding lens like this here. It was $3 and the first shade that I bought was a shade 11. I thought that would be okay. I did some aluminum welding with it and unfortunately it was way too bright. I probably should have bought a darker shade to start with. But I tried TIG welding some stainless steel and this actually worked pretty good with the shade 11. Again, some of this footage I was getting at this point was stuff I was using on my YouTube channel when I first started and nobody could tell I was using my phone. I went back and I purchased a shade 13, which was way darker, but after testing it out on TIG welding some aluminum, this was looking perfect. Check out this clip right here. This is taken with my iPhone and a $3 lens. After seeing the results I was able to get at this point here, it was on. At this point, I was filming everything I did. And I actually started using rubber bands around the lens to hold everything together. What I would do is prop up my phone with this rubber hammer here. This would keep a tight seal between the phone lens and the glass. This would prevent any reflection from lights in my shop. And the benefit to doing it this way was that the first thing I could do is properly frame the shot and make sure that I had room to travel with my hand. And after I was ready, I would then slip the lens over the camera. And again, look at the footage I was getting now. Looking at the comment section on my YouTube page, I was all of a sudden getting messages like, what camera do you use for your ARC footage? How much does the camera cost that you're using to film the welds? The camera I was using was the same thing these people were using to send me these messages. I then found out that I could clip my phone in a phone holder on a tripod. Again, using the elastic bands around the phone and the lens, this would get me some great angles. But after a while, I started seeing that the elastic bands would start to dry out and break from being exposed to the UV light of the welding process. Sometimes I would be in the middle of a welding pass and I would hear, good thing they were only $3. Back to the hardware store, more lenses, more elastic bands. A couple of smashed lenses later, I came up with a better idea. And this would still be the exact idea of what I would be doing if I was still filming this way for my YouTube channel today. Watch this and try this for yourself. I took a piece of a 2x4, And with my bandsaw, I cut out a pattern on it like this. And then after removing all of this material here, I would then cut the corners off the front of the block like this here. And of course, always cleaning up all my rough cuts and edges. Silky smooth all the way, people. Then at this point, check out what I could do now. I could then put the lens propped up in it properly. It wouldn't be able to slip around at all. I would then be able to fit and plunk my phone right up against it and have them both securely held together. My phone could then see past the wood for a better periphery because I had cut the corners off the block. And then I got the idea to make it even more adjustable. I went back to the hardware store and I bought one of these bolts here. But honestly, it literally could be any bolt or thread pattern you want. I took it back to my shop, I took a tiny piece of filler material and I welded it onto the end of it like a handle. I then took my drill and I drilled out this hole in the wood block like this. You want this hole to be slightly smaller than the diameter of the bolt that you purchased. And then winding the bolt through it, basically threading my way through the piece of wood as if I was tapping it, I was then able to grab the handle and wind the bolt up and down. And this would give me the ability to adjust the angle that I was filming my welds at. Pretty cool, right? I could flip the phone so that the lens was on either side of the block, it didn't matter. And then using the bolt and adjusting the height, I was able to frame up whatever shot I needed. Now, to be completely honest, these days I am using something way fancier to get the footage that you see these days on my welding channel. The camera that I'm using is amazing here. It has all kinds of filters, has super custom settings. I think the camera actually at this point is over $4,000 into it, and it's the reason that I'm able to get the footage that you see on my welding channel these days. I take a lot of pride in getting the best footage I can for you. But honestly, if I had to go back and do a demonstration with my old setup, here's exactly how I would do it. Watch this. I would have the lens slid back and out of the way. I would have my shot framed and ready, making sure that I could travel the distance that I needed to capture. What I would then do is tap the screen to focus. I would then hold my finger on my iPhone and it would lock the focus. This is a great way that we don't lose focus anymore. What I would do is then slide the lens back in front of the camera. And at this point, when I'm getting set up, I would just make sure I wouldn't move anything at all. And again, look at the footage I was getting. I went from super sketchy footage, balancing a camera and a helmet in between my arms like this, to being able to get footage like this and reliably do it each time I did a pass. No more welding like a half a dozen joints to get one that I actually could use. Looking at this stuff here, I was so happy. But because the footage that I was now getting was turning out so good, when I started watching the footage that I had gotten, I was shocked at what I saw. I was so embarrassed. I saw so many bad habits that I was showing on camera and I didn't even know I was doing them. I teach something called standoff consistency. This refers from the distance of the tip of your tungsten to the workpiece. As you travel across a welding joint, this should maintain consistent from start to finish. You should not see this distance increase or become inconsistent as you are traveling along. Yet, here I was looking at my own footage, and sure enough, sometimes without even realizing it, I'd be drifting away or getting too close, and apparently have absolutely no idea as I was doing it. Then another thing that I could see is I could see my hands shaking all over the place. It was driving me crazy watching it. I would somehow be able to weld super thin material with no problems. Both my torch hand as well as my filler material would be all over the place. Then sometimes I would dip, and when it would happen, I'd be like, well, that was weird. Why did that happen? And then watching the footage later, I'd be like, well, of course I know why it was happening now. Now, this is something that I teach in my online classes on my website to make sure this doesn't happen to you. But it was hilarious when I started filming for my channel. I had all these pesky bad habits that were still popping up, and I had no idea they were there. After almost 2 decades of welding professionally at that point. And for anybody who's out there watching thinking they don't have bad habits, get out of here. I'd also see this all the time. Can you spot the bad habit here? What about here? Do you see it? I would finish a weld and I would be so excited to see it. I would pull the torch away in excitement just to see my weld. I mean, come on friends, even as a professional, I still have the same excitement to see my work after I finish each weld just like I did when I first started back in the day. And there we go, there's another bad habit I didn't even realize I was making. And because at that time I was filming for my channel pretty much every week, I was seeing all of these bad habits for the first time as if I'd never noticed them before. But here is where everything changed for me. Because I was now able to objectively see all of these things. Now I had the opportunity to fix them. I would never have the opportunity to do this if I had not filmed myself welding. Boom, shaky hands. I would learn to take care of them using some of the things that I teach in my online TIG welding classes. This took care of all the issues with a shaky torch hand as well as my filler material hand. This meant less dipping as well as much better consistency with my standoff distance as I was traveling. And then after finishing a weld, I would make sure that I stayed in nice and close to properly post-flow my tungsten. This would keep my tungsten nice and clean. And this is just really good practice to have with your aluminum TIG welding. Now, all of these small habits and techniques like the ones I'm mentioning here are all things that we go over in my online TIG welding classes. The classes are on my website, they are free and they are on demand. Jump into a stainless steel class or an aluminum TIG welding class. You can get a complete workshop that people used to have to pay for. These classes are about a half hour to 45 minutes long and they are free. They are on demand. Watch them whenever you want and watch them as many times as you want on your phone, just like we're talking about now. So if you film your welding, how is this going to help you? Anybody watching right now, do you play golf? I love golf. When I was taking lessons a long time ago, somebody recommended for me to videotape my swing so I could watch it. That's right, videotape. It was old school. But looking at it, you'd be able to see all kinds of goofy stuff that you were doing you had no idea. It's the same thing with what we're talking about here. I think if you're like me back several years ago when I was starting to get stuff together for my channel here, I think you're definitely gonna see that you have some small habits that you can work on. It just takes an objective look to realize that you're doing them. And if you have footage that you can watch and examples to compare your footage to, using my free classes is something that you can have right in front of you. Then looking at your footage directly in front of you, comparing the two and see what you can work on to improve, I think you're gonna be able to see that you can fast track some results really quickly to better stuff. This thing cost me $5 to make. It's a piece of wood with a bolt and a tiny bit of filler material welded onto it. And with this silly little setup here, you've got such a powerful tool to help you get improvements with your TIG welding. Now earlier on, we talked about this here. This joint is assembled and ready to go, you're ready to weld it, but there is something that you must do before you weld it, because the downside of missing this detail here is huge. This episode is gonna go over all of those details really closely. Watch this episode next.